Johanna. Jo. Mitchell is a 17-year-old girl who prefers dressing and acting like a tomboy. She lives with her dad, who is a NASCAR race car driver. On her first day at North Shore High School, Jo makes it clear that she wants to stay away from the typical high school drama. She already knows about the various mean-spirited cliques she will encounter at her new school. Jo then introduces us to the Plastics, the most popular group at North Shore High. This version of the Plastics includes Amanda, Mandy, Weatherly, a wealthy and snobbish girl who lives nearby. There's also Chastity Meyer, a blonde who isn't very bright and has a reputation for hooking up with random guys, even those who aren't popular. Finally, there's Hope Plotkin, a snobby girl who constantly worries about her health and tries to stay on Mandy's good side. Jo is determined to avoid the Plastics, the most popular clique at North Shore High. Soon, she meets Abigail, Abby, Hanover, who is an artist and has always been at odds with Mandy. Abby and Mandy are neighbors, and their rivalry started when they were kids because Abby's family is wealthier than Mandy's. Abby introduces herself to Jo and says she is part of the small welcoming committee for new students. While they are talking, a teacher accidentally trips and spills his shake all over Abby. Jo feels really bad for Abby and sympathizes with her situation. This incident makes Jo feel a connection with Abby, seeing her as a kind and genuine person despite the rivalry with Mandy. Jo takes a shop class and meets Tyler DuPont, a boy she starts to like despite his slightly sexist attitude. To prove she can fit in with the guys, Jo takes charge of their class project. Meanwhile, Mandy, curious about Jo as the new girl, starts to pay more attention to her. Abby unintentionally makes things worse for herself by parking in the Plastics' designated parking spot. In retaliation, Mandy and the rest of the Plastics bully Abby by smashing her lunch in her face and paintballing her sports car. This behavior shows just how mean and vindictive the Plastics can be, making Jo even more determined to avoid them. Later, Jo gives Abby a ride home and meets Abby's father, Sidney Hanover, a famous infomercial king. Sidney offers to pay Jo's college tuition if she agrees to be a friend to his lonely daughter. Jo accepts and starts getting closer to Abby. Jo and Tyler also go on a date, which ends with a kiss. However, their car is bugged with a voice recorder, and Jo's private conversation about not having boyfriends due to moving around a lot and still being a virgin is recorded. When Jo finds out, she gets very angry at Tyler. A trio of less popular girls then confides in Jo, revealing they had sex with the same guy and regret not waiting, like Jo has. Abby also tells Jo that Tyler is actually Mandy's stepbrother. This revelation makes Jo question her relationship with Tyler even more. After Jo and Tyler become labeled as the hottest couple, Mandy disapproves and starts pranking Jo. She sabotages Jo's project, which jeopardizes Jo's acceptance into her dream college, Carnegie Mellon University. Mandy's pranks escalate when she fills Jo's dad's race car with coffee and a sugar substitute, Skinny and Sweet. In retaliation, Jo decides to get back at Mandy by throwing a party at Abby's house on the same night as Mandy's birthday celebration. More people show up to Abby's party than expected, including Quinn, a nerdy outcast student who contrasts the simplicity of Abby's party with the lavishness of parties Mandy would host. The Plastics discover Abby's party, and Hope uses Ipecac to contaminate the pizza, hoping to make the guests sick. Jo and Abby quickly dispose of the tainted pizza, but not before Nick, Mandy's boyfriend, unknowingly eats a slice. As tensions rise, Jo challenges Mandy, leading to a confrontation where Mandy ends up kissing Nick, who promptly vomits all over Mandy's dress in front of everyone. This turn of events marks a humiliating moment for Mandy and a victorious one for Jo, as she manages to turn the tables on the Plastics. 1 week later, Jo, Abby, and Quinn form a new clique called the Anti-Plastics, aiming to challenge and oppose the Plastics' influence. As the rivalry intensifies, Jo undergoes a noticeable transformation in her appearance and attitude, becoming increasingly shallow and conceited, mirroring some of Mandy's behaviors. Jo attempts to undermine the Plastics by exposing Chastity's make-out spots, framing Mandy as the mastermind behind the revelation due to her specific knowledge of those locations. This move sparks further conflict between the two cliques. In another act of retaliation, the girls of the Anti-Plastics scare Hope by sneezing all over her, causing her to decide to visit a spa for the weekend. However, The anti-plastics sabotage her seaweed facial mask with green dye, resulting in Hope's face turning green for an extended period. This incident not only embarrasses Hope but also causes Mandy to distance herself from her, commenting disparagingly, "I don't hang out with ogres." Jo campaigns for homecoming queen, which makes Mandy so angry that she shoves a cupcake in Chastity's face. Later, Tyler warns Jo that if she doesn't change her rude behavior, he might break up with her. Jo decides to return the money Sydney Hanover gave her to be friends with Abby. While Jo talks to Sydney, Mandy overhears their conversation and reveals the secret to the entire school. As a result, Jo loses Abby's friendship, Tyler breaks up with her, and she feels betrayed by Quinn. Then, Jo is questioned by the principal, Mr. Duvall, about some charity money that was stolen and found in her back shed. However, the money was actually stolen by Mandy and Nick, who put it there to frame Jo for the theft. In a fit of anger, Jo decides to escalate the conflict by challenging Mandy to a Powderpuff football game. The anti-plastics, along with Tyler's support, rally behind Jo to prove her innocence. Elliot Gold, a skilled computer hacker and geek, assists by hacking into the surveillance system of Jo's grumpy neighbor, who had installed cameras to monitor activity near her house. This hack reveals footage that clears Jo of any wrongdoing. The Powderpuff football game becomes a pivotal moment as the anti-plastics triumph over Mandy's team. To everyone's surprise, including Mandy and Nick, they are arrested for theft when incriminating images surface showing them planting money in Jo's shed. At the school's homecoming dance, Abby and Elliot are announced as the king and queen, a victory that Jo helped secure by manipulating the voting process. Amidst the celebration, Jo and Tyler reconcile their differences and share a dance together, rekindling their relationship. In the concluding scenes, Mandy and Nick are sentenced to community service as punishment for their actions. Quinn steps up as the new leader of the Plastics, taking over Mandy's role. Recognizing the toll of the conflict, Quinn initiates a peace deal with Jo and Abby. Hope confronts her fear of germs and attempts to get water from a drinking fountain, only to be unexpectedly sneezed on by a jock. Unfortunately, this results in Hope catching swine flu, highlighting the irony of her situation. Abby and Elliot's relationship deepens, and they become a couple. Abby pursues her passion for art and heads off to college as an art major, following her dreams with Elliot by her side. Tyler opts to attend a nearby college to stay close to Jo. Jo also maintains a strong friendship with Abby, cherishing the bond they forged through their shared experiences. These final developments illustrate how each character evolves and finds their path beyond the high school drama, with relationships and personal growth shaping their futures. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.